just this last December, when Mark Carney was still running Brookfield and economic advisor to Trudeau, he talked about a deal he had worked out where his whole idea was to change government policy and then have Brookfield invest. This was about jet fuel in Texas, where they convinced governments to bring in 10% biofuel by 2030.
It's ridiculous.
Biofuel being about 80 cents per liter more expensive. So he is both advising, and then his company is signing $1 billion deal to profit. Stephen Debo, Gerald Butts, and Carney's own wife, Diana Fox, is involved in the same kind of consulting. What kind of impact has this kind of way of doing business had on the Canadian people and on the Canadian economy?
That's ridiculous. So we are the country rich on oil and gas, right? And Mark Carney just decides, yeah, let's do some biofuel, like let's invest into that, even though we're rich on everything else, right? And of course his investment firm make money out of it. And that's the ridiculous thing about the Brookfield. Like if you look at their interests in North America, so in the US, they're investing in fossil fuels, right? Like pipelines and everything. But in Canada, somehow it's all about environment. And yeah, Mark Carney was still in charge in December, in charge of Brookfield, right? So don't tell me all of these new deals about the pipeline and stuff happened just within few weeks. Like, I don't know, it's usually like months of negotiations and all of it. The same with moving headquarters from Toronto to New York. Like Mark Carney was trying to pretend that he has nothing to do with it. That's not true. It's even proven that he signed the document. So he literally took the tax money away from Canadians or Canada just to avoid the tariffs and move it to New York, right? Which is ridiculous when the Prime Minister does that. Like, I don't know, it's such a conflict of interest. Everything about Carney is such a conflict of interest. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it's crony capitalism. It works against these people behind me. Let's just unpack what Mr. Carney did in this particular case. He used his political power to convince the British government to require more expensive jet fuel for air travel. And then his company invested $1 billion in the company that was selling that jet fuel.
Ridiculous.
So if, God forbid, a family like the people behind me here want to take their kids on a vacation somewhere,
they're going to have to pay
they
more.
have to pay higher airplane ticket prices to fund this more expensive jet fuel so that Mark Carney's $1 billion investment can pay off. Mr. Carney is not a businessman. He is a political grifter who's used his...
I don't know if I would agree with it. I think he is businessman, but he cares only about his own interest. Like, he's pretty much just businessman. He's not prime minister. Like, even now, if you look how he behaves, it's like, I wouldn't compare him to Trump, because President Trump is businessman as well, right? But with him, you kind of feel like he cares about Americans, and he's trying to do it in the best interest of Americans. No one else, just US. But with Mark Carney, I don't know, I still have that feeling that everything he does is obviously businessman, but for his own interest. And when he's at the post of prime minister, that's not good. That's not good for Canadians. Like, why should we, when we as a country are really good with the air pollution and everything, like, why should we pay more money when literally if Canada reaches net zero, it's not going to change much around the world. Like, we're number 169 or something like that with air pollution. We have good regulations. Do you really think if we reach net zero, it's going to save the whole world? No, there's other countries that literally had the air quality warning 24/7. Those are the countries that need to start working on it. And then we can talk about Canada, US, and all of it. but there are other countries that need to start working on reaching net zero, or not even net zero, just get better with pollution. Because yeah, like if Canada reaches net zero, the only Canadians will suffer thanks to it, because we don't have infrastructure for clean energy right now. It doesn't make sense to try to push on clean energy without having money from fossil fuels and all of the resources we have in Canada. We can unleash the resources like Pierre Poilievre is always planning, and use part of the money to start building a clean energy infrastructure. That's the best option, right? Not trying to build a clean energy infrastructure from taxpayers' money. That's gonna take 50 years if Canada will survive 50 years, because try to take money from Canadians without improving the quality of life or anything, which is pretty much what happened in these past 10 years, right? Government was just taking taxes more and more without improving anything, and now people, like the middle class is gone, right? It's just ridiculous.
His political influence to turn decisions that profit his company at the expense of workers and seniors. And that is exactly how he would govern the country. While he was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor, he went on the record saying that he thought there should be more inflation. He thought it would be good if there was more inflation. Well, it turns out Brookfield, his company, profits from inflation. They get to charge higher rents on their tenants, according to their CEO. So he has used his political influence to rip off workers and seniors. And now, with all the political power of a prime minister, he continues to be invested in the same company, Brookfield, the same company that benefits by raising inflation, by raising energy prices, and by ripping off workers and seniors. Today's announcement is another example of that. How would Mark Carney ever be trusted to make our tax system fair when he's invested in a company that has billions of dollars of cash stashed away in an overseas tax haven?
Yeah.
Of course, he never would. We need a prime minister who will put Canada.
And this is the issue I have with Mark Carney. Like, I understand he was a businessman, right? As a businessman, of course, you want to try to avoid paying as much taxes as you can. So, of course, you're gonna find a tax haven. But if you're Prime Minister of Canada, you're literally taking this tax money from Canada. How is that being patriotic? How is that being good Prime Minister? How is that not a conflict of interest? It's just ridiculous, and I hope people will see it, because like some of the liberal comments, I don't get many liberal comments on my videos, but some of them are just ridiculous. Like someone was telling me, oh, liberals want to do it as well. And I don't remember what was the case. I think the mines, like the speed up opening the new mines. And the comment was like, well, liberals are planning to do it as well. What are you talking about? They had 10 years to do that. And now, right before elections, they're gonna have Eureka and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that. No, you could have done it. You can do it even now. You can speed it up even now before elections. Like, we don't have to listen to liberals' promises because we have experience with them. We know what they did with the country in this past 10 years. Why should we trust you that you're gonna do something that you say you're gonna do when you actually have a chance to do it? You're in power right now, so do it. Conservatives, it's different. They're not in power. So yes, all we have is we have to trust their promises. We have to have hope. But honestly, if you want some change in Canada, if you're pissed off with the way things were going these past 10 years, what else do you have? You can only vote for hope, vote for change. And the change is going to happen with conservatives. It's not going to be the same like liberals. Again, like I said, it's politics. Maybe they're not going to fulfill 100% of their promises, but they're going to change something, and it's going to be definitely better for Canadians than what liberals are doing, and then what what Mark Carney is planning to do. Like, it's just ridiculous what they're doing.
First for a change, who will stand up for lower energy prices, lower taxes, less inflation, bigger paychecks. I've been spending my entire adult life fighting for the people who are here behind me today, fighting for their paychecks, for their quality of life, for their future, to bring home Canada's promise. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. We need to put Canada first. After 10 years, we need to put Canadians first. Like, after 10 years with liberals and everything being about this identity politics and about the stuff that's going behind the borders of Canada, like around the world. No, we need to put Canadians first for now. We need to climb up, restore our economy, unleash our resources, like Pierre Poilievre says, which it sounds like such a cliche, such a ridiculous thing, but if you realize that we have so much that the liberals just not only decided not to use, they literally banned to use. They banned the new pipelines with the Bill C-69. It's like you're trying to make Canada poorer. It's ridiculous. Like, don't tell me there's no conflict of interest. And now with Mark Carney, like, it's so obvious. There's so much proof that he has conflict of interest. And me being from Europe, it's ridiculous because this would not fly in country that is part of European Union. Like, this is literally unacceptable for a prime minister or a politician to have such a huge conflict of interest. But anyway, like I always say, before you go vote, make your research. And I actually had a conversation with my colleague the other day, and she was telling me that she's going to vote for Conservatives, but she doesn't really like Pierre Poilievre and this new group of politicians or representatives of Conservative Party, right? So I started talking with her about some of the policies and plans that Pierre Poilievre has. She had no idea about it. So it just proves that, like, people need to look into it, do your research, even if you need to put it on paper, pros and cons, like what did liberals did in the last 10 years that you like. By the way, for all of you liberal friends, can you write me in the comments what do you like about the liberals, what they did in past 10 years? I would really appreciate it, because I have a hard times finding anything that I would agree with and anything that improved our life. But I would like to hear your opinion. Anyway, so like I was saying, before you go vote, do your research, make educated choice, please. And for me, I would definitely vote for change, which right now it's Conservative Party and Pierre Poilievre.